Hey guys, welcome back. It's Friday morning for those of you watching as soon as this went live. Thank you to all of our loyal fans who every single week come check out. We love doing this podcast.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, Two Tamers Talk is a blast. For those of you who this is your first episode, welcome. You have 48 episodes you have to go back and watch, so go have fun with that marathon mode. No, I'm just kidding. But, we're just doing a fun little segment here. We talk about regionals, talk about reveals. But I'm going to start off with a little bit of housekeeping.
Yeah.
Right? So the most important thing, probably the biggest Digimon news for our local area, is that our shop is reopening. So I am so stoked. I have missed everybody. I have missed playing at events. We did have a couple supplemental events. I know we hosted an event at my place, which that turnout was awesome. Again, shout out to everyone that came. And some other people did too. We've had, you guys have been going to other locals and stuff like that, but there's just no place like home.
Yeah, Wayward's first event I went to.
Yeah.
And it's been gone for, almost 2 months or so.
Yeah. So
it's finally reopening, and we're so excited.
If
Next week.
Everybody's watching. Everybody can jump in the Discord and feel free to talk about Digimon-related content. Message any of us contributors here at the channel if you have questions about decks. But grab, local information, address, all that stuff. But if you're in the Vancouver, Washington, Portland, Oregon area, or anywhere adjacent that you're willing to drive, come down, come play, come meet us, come hang out. The entire community, our entire local scenes is a blast. And I kind of have a feeling we're going to have 20 people on day one.
If you think Jeff and Jesse are cool, wait until you see the rest of the guys there.
Yeah, really, it's an awesome scene, man. That's what makes me love this game so much is how great our scene is, the creativity, the loyal fans. Again, I'm telling you, man, I know the shop is just going to reopen, but I think it's going to be 20 people at least. Day one.
It was 20 plus every week.
In my house, we had 22, 21 when we had an event at my house, which I'm glad everyone fit in the house comfortably. So that was kind of nice. I have this really awkward long-shaped house where there's hallways where we put all the tables to play, so it worked. It's not like I have a mansion or anything, I promise. So no, I'm super excited about Wayward City Games. So a huge shout out to Joe and Logan. I know they've been working really, really hard behind the scenes the past 2 months, getting us the right location, get us the inventory, everything set up. So glad to have that back to normal. You know what the real hard question is now?
What's that?
What do you play as the debut of the new location?
That's what we need to know. Old,
do you play
man.
something that represents who you are as a Digimon player and your journey? Do you play, BT1 Turbo Omnimon just because it's a christening, it's the genesis of this new location or what? So we'd love to hear what you guys think and what you're thinking, but I don't know what I'm gonna play.
Might have to bust out Plants and Fairies for old times.
Yeah. Just bring back really bad something. I don't know. Maybe I'll play 50 Vemmon just because I'm so excited to be back because they can attack.
That's awesome.
No, man. Super excited to have that back again. But and some other housekeeping things. Besides locals opening up, we had you, and we had another contributor on the channel, Ryan. Both of you guys went down to nationals, and we got Ryan's national deck top 4 on the channel. Regional. Excuse me.
National.
Sorry.
Ryan qualified for national.
Ryan qualified now, and I'll get into that in here in a sec. Regional. So we got his deck profile, Shine Greymon. It was posted a couple days back. Go watch it. We love when he, gives his genius brain a chance to share on the channel. But you also play too, man.
Yeah, man. Ryan's the star of the show on this particular regional. He went X1. He played Shine Gray, which is a top deck in the format. I was debating between a few decks. I ended up going with Crossheart. I felt really strongly about it.
You did. I was going to ask you. Okay.
I played with Ryan in the Shine Gray matchup because that's what I was expecting a lot of.
Yeah.
And it didn't feel as bad as it did when I played it in tournament because I went X3. All of my losses were to Shine Greymon. And it's I
remember, what was it, a week ago? I'm losing track of time horribly. I'd asked you what you thought you were going to play.
Mm-hmm.
And we specifically talked about the Shine Gray matchup and why you were a little hesitant to play that.
My whole strategy for this regional was what deck is going to beat Shine Greymon the best.
Yeah.
Because I have Shine Greymon put together. I'm just not as comfortable with it as I am on other decks.
Yep.
And in a long tournament, you want to play something you know really well. And And yeah, I was expecting Crossheart versus Shine Gray to be more of a 50-50 matchup.
I see.
If I can outrace him before he gets into a bunch of Marcuses and kills me, but that was not the case. I'm not necessarily calling for a Shine Greymon nerf at this point, but
Get that on the thumbnail.
the deck's no joke.
Yeah.
And clearly, I mean, if you play Ryan's list and you bring that to your locals or the next regional, you will dominate.
Yeah, it's very strong. No, I totally thought you were going to play like Mirage Geogamon specifically for that matchup because I knew you were worried the most about the Shine Gray matchup. But yeah, man, I mean, that's awesome. I'm glad you did well. You think you didn't do well, but you did better than everybody else in this room now. That's for sure.
It's it's hard to go X1 at your first regional because then at the next one you're like, I didn't go X1, I did bad. Which 67th is a perfectly reasonable showing, but
that was killer, man. That's especially with the cross. That's such a deck that you're good with, you're comfortable with, and a lot of people can't handle. And the fact that you only really lost to one matchup, that just kind of goes to show the strength of how. That's rough. That's rough.
All good.
Is that the deck you played the most then, Shine Gray? Like I know you played 3 of that.
Yeah, my matchup was Shine Grays, Belfamon. There was one Alphamon deck. Oh, and Wargrey. 2 Wargreys.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Good, diverse showing.
Yeah. No, it was, and Ryan, I don't know, he mentioned any of his matchups, but I think in 8 rounds, I think he played against 7 decks.
Wow, 7 different.
Seven different decks. BT13 is an awesome format. I'm really enjoying it.
Yeah, so just remember, guys, BT13 is a diverse format. You can do a lot with a lot more than you think you can for sure,
Yeah.
No, man, I mean, but speaking of, regionals and you kicking ass, there's some news that we're pretty excited about here in the studio. I think we're going to have to plan a family road trip.
Oh, yeah.
Down to Pasadena, California. What is that, November, Jesse? I can't remember.
Yeah, November. It's,
November 27th. No, November 17th. 27th is when we can sign up, right?
In Pasadena, it's at it's Core TCG, a very good tournament organizer. All of their online events I've entered.
I've played in the Core TCG. I like
their events are spectacular.
Yeah.
512 entrant cap.
Yeah, so what is it? I think it's the 27th that entry opens, like sign up opens. So everybody watching this in our local area,
we're gonna send down a trove of people.
We're gonna bring everybody we can. Let's do whether it's a road trip. I'm probably gonna fly because I don't want to drive 15 hours when I can fly an hour and a half or 2 hours, right? But maybe we'll, like you were saying, Jesse, maybe get like an Airbnb or something and just chill out down there and have a blast and just a huge showing of Digital Gate Studios supporters,
Digimon
contributors,
Fest.
and let's go play in a competitive event, especially because now so many people have been talking and asking for in-person events and regionals. And I think Bandai does listen to us. It may seem like they don't listen to us. Yeah, thank you for subscribing, Bandai.
Yeah,
obviously,
you.
Right. I think, so just... And it's not just California. We're just talking about the California one because we're excited.
Yeah,
because that's
it's not in Philadelphia.
It's not in Philadelphia, right? There, for fans that are in other parts of the country, they are going to have in-person tournaments, and everyone else. We're just highlighting that one because we're going to try to go to that. So, but no, this is a great sign of the game. The game's doing great. They're ready to get in-person events going, big regionals and things like that. I'm excited. This is gonna be fun. So. Yeah. And hopefully, one of us gets a chance to go to nationals. I mean, I'm gonna have to spend some time thinking about the deck I'm gonna play and try to figure out.
It's a top 16 qualifies for nationals, and then the rest of the prizing is event pack 5, our first event pack 5, and stamped cards for top 32 and up. But the real prize is that top 16, that invite to nationals.
Invite to nationals, yeah, absolutely. So I would love it if 16 of us, Digital Gate Studios folks, all get those. That would be killer to me, man. So let's get that going. But speaking of regionals, let's talk about some results, shall we? So the first image I have is the Play TCG North America August 5th online regional.
Yep.
That would be Blue Flare. Yes. So I'm a big fan of this list, and I was worried personally when Blue Flare was coming out that everyone was going to get away from the red stuff completely. But I'm really happy to see that people are still playing the red security attack +1 Greymon. But 4 seems like excessive in this deck.
Yeah,
this is insane. But obviously, first place, the results are speaking for themselves.
Yeah, this was the offline regional that they had, and A lot of people were looking forward to this event because I think it was the first offline regional of BT13 in North America.
Oh, okay.
And
okay.
This one's interesting. Like you said, the 4 security tech Greymon leaves him with just the 8 Greymons, the 4 blue, and then the 4 red. None of the new EX4 Greymons.
None of the new one, which is surprising.
He does have that's the other interesting thing is 4 of the EX4 Mailbird.
Yeah,
and then only
jamming.
2 of the original. So he is looking for a lot of security checks, and he wants those to be.
He wants them quick and
wants them safe.
Which makes a lot of sense. I mean, because that's kind of what the blue flare metal Greymons. I mean, yes, it stuns. It can be a very controlly deck, but I always like to think of this deck as aggressive.
Yeah,
because you just throw it down for 3. It's got rush. Give it an extra check, and boom, go to town. And jamming is always what that card needed.
Yeah, and then
for sure.
And then with the Z Gray, the unsuspend, so you could burn through 4 or 5 security in one turn, no sweat.
What's crazy though is the lack of Decker Dramons and the Decker Greymons are just completely removed. He's focusing on the Cyber Launcher instead, right? Which makes a lot of sense, but it's crazy because I don't think I would have thought about seeing a blue flare deck without that at all.
This list moved to the Cyber Launcher to deal with a lot of Psychmons. That might be a little collateral damage from the Royal Knights deck.
Yep.
And then obviously we're playing 2 Death X, which I think Death X is a really good card this format, as it is in every format.
Yeah.
Lots of Tamers, so that makes sense. And 4 Sorai.
I know, it's just you look at this deck and the first thing I think of is how the heck do they have this much room?
Because they cut all the Decker.
They cut all the Decker stuff because you look at how many level 3s they're playing. They're playing 10. And that's kind of on the high end of blue flare lists because usually 8's what people like.
Yeah, 8
and
to
I
10.
usually like 8 as well, but 10 is awesome, the fact they have that in. Then you have the 4 Greymons, 3 Cyber Launchers, right? 2 Death X, 4 Sorais. The fact they have all of this stuff in one deck. So it's crazy how...
Excellent list.
I love this list. I might have to mess around with this. This is an awesome list. So let's see if I can get the second place list. Same event. We are looking at Purple Belfamon.
Yeah, the Belfamon list.
One of the 7 Demon Lords. So.
Yeah, this is a deck that I think I've been messing around with a lot because it won the regional that Brian and I entered, the online one. And so anytime a deck wins, I'm interested in it.
Yep.
People are going back and forth on the Omnimon in this list because they're basically, when you're into sleep and rage mode, that's where you want to be.
Yeah,
so a lot of people are shying away from that. He obviously is not. The purple matte people are unsure of because you're not really sure if you want to waste a turn when you would be playing a Karada.
Yep.
The analog boy is interesting here as well. A lot of interesting options. Something that I noted is that they are sticking with some of the Gabumons.
Yep.
And so that is...
I love that BT2 Gabumon.
Yeah,
we were literally just talking about this Gabumon before we started recording.
Yeah.
And I think some people like it, some people don't. I personally love it with the Eisbon package. I love when you get on deletion and you're drawing 6 cards and discarding 3. It's awesome.
Draw 6, discard 3 is very good. It's just hard to find room because you want the Psychmon, you want Gazimon. They obviously didn't find room for Gazimon.
Yep.
And another card they didn't find room for is Purple Memory Boost.
Yeah, those are both tough choices. But
no boost in this list. They're opting just for plain old draw and trash.
Yep.
And the Underworld's Call as another way to draw cards. Yeah. Analog Youth as another way to draw cards. So
and the difference between this list and the last Belfamon list we were looking at is the lack of 2 Nidhogg's too. Right, like that made a lot of sense where you could discard that to gain memory, whereas this doesn't really have it.
This is just looking for card advantage.
It's just looking for the card advantage, right? And if they could have totally put in Purple Memory Boost instead of Matt and Analog Youth, instead of doing a 1/1, right? Like, So it's very interesting to see, but I'm digging it. All this purple stuff is fun. The Belfamon's cool. I'm glad it's making waves. So
it's a strong list.
And then the third place is Shine Gray. So it's pretty. I don't want to say standard list, but they kind of start to all blend together when you start looking at them. I don't know if it's just because like the poses of all the Greymons always look so the same.
Yeah, there's a lot of things that we're seeing very commonly, and so that is 4-4 Marcus.
But it's crazy that we're seeing the yellow represent the yellow base with the eggs, and then the red base, and it's like a flip flop. Some people like yellow, some people like red, and when someone comes up to me and goes, "How should I build Shine Gray?" I don't know what to tell them.
Yeah, I think opting for the yellow base makes sense to me when you're playing Yellow Memory Boost Just because on that turn 1 you don't have a rookie. If you have the red Koromon and the yellow boost, it can get a little awkward. Brian has a video on the channel talking about his list and his decision making.
Definitely.
I know the big reason he wanted yellow boost was to grab the ruin mode.
That's kind of what I was thinking, right? Is because it's a 1-of and it's such a good card, but
it's hard to find room for 2 of that, so you want to use the yellow boost. But this is, Shine Gray.
Shine Gray's an awesome deck.
That's a good deck.
yeah, absolutely. And fourth place for this Play TCG offline regionals on August 5th is Wargrave Toolbox. So before we dive too into the deck, we actually just recorded an awesome video. Basil came up to us, had a great deck profile idea. Well, not even a deck profile. It's like a deck strategy guide almost. So stay tuned. In the next week, that video will be dropped, and we definitely hope you guys watch it. But
I talk a lot about it in that video. But the general idea is that this deck can go in any number of directions.
Yeah.
And so if you wanted to go this route, which is obviously a little bit more on the Wargrave side of things, with the 2 security attack Mat, the 4 security attack Metal X, a lot of damage in this list, a lot less defense. That's one strategy you can do, and obviously it worked out really well for him here. 4th
place, solid placing, absolutely. It's crazy how one loss, may seem like, oh man, I lost once, but it's like really you're doing just fine. So.
Yeah.
All right, let's dive into another regionals that we have. This one was on August 4th. This one was an online.
Yeah, this is the online regional.
Play TCG, and this is a yellow base Wargrave deck with a little surprise Kuda twist in there.
Yeah, the Kudamon makes a lot of sense to me. When I was fiddling around with this deck, I like the Kudamon and that's the reason I preferred the yellow base, is because it's an emergency button rookie, but also it another searcher to grab your Marcuses and your entire line is vaccine.
Yeah.
This one went for 6 on the Shine Grays, which I thought was pretty interesting. 3 and 3 split, and then 3 on the burst mode, so no ruin mode. So this is a more offensive list, I would say.
Yeah, it's really interesting. Because it's like the first time you really see a split like this, where that 2-to-1 split has been really standard. And I was almost thinking about going the opposite direction and playing more of the ruin modes, because that ruin mode's so devastating.
Yeah,
but I like it. It's cool. It obviously did great for him. First place. Congrats. Now, I think we're getting into your wheelhouse over here. Second place is the green Bloom Lord.
The Bloom.
And I got to ask, what is the deal?
Rose.
What is the deal with the Kokomon? What is the Kokomon that makes it so good? Because I don't even know what that card does.
The Kokomon is on suspension, draw 1. So it's Gummymon, but for your own Digimon.
Got it.
This was my intuition for this deck was pretty much exactly this list when this set first dropped. Was okay, we can take the best of Bloomlord and the best of Rosemon and combine them into one list. And so that's kind of what we see here. I never had really a lot of success with it. So I was really happy to see this list. The ratios are very similar to something that I would do with the 11 level 4s, the 9 level 5s, and then
good numbers.
And then the rest.
Yeah,
these numbers make a lot of sense to me. The 3 Yoshinos with the 2 Leomon was a little bit suspect for me because in my mind you don't really want to have to play that Yoshino. You want to play it for free, and so I think that's what I was struggling with this deck. But I like the Rosemon burst mode without the Rosemon because you don't need to burst Digivolve.
No.
You can pay 5 or hidden potential discovered, pay 0.
Yeah.
Or have it reduced by the Leomon and the Sunflow, only Digivolve for 3 into that. So I think this is a very interesting hybrid of the two. Yeah. And I've been trying to put something like this together. I haven't had a ton of success. I'm mostly just waiting for BT14. We get a little bit more glue, I think, to tie things
really
together.
older deck. Yeah,
but I really like.
But
this
I love
list.
the creativity, man. I love that green is now becoming a deck that is respected and represented because it does feel like it's been underappreciated for so long.
Yeah,
and it felt like green was really like a lost identity. Now, Bandai, since you are watching, I do think it is time We get green Gabuterimon support.
Yeah,
we get
true.
green Tyrant Gabuterimon, Hercules Gabuterimon X, make him big beefy, dude. Let's go nuts with the bugs, guys. It's time. It's time. But third place, a deck that I kind of thought we were going to talk about for a little bit, Purple Belzemon, another Demon Lord representing.
Yeah, Belzemon, you cannot sleep on this deck.
No.
I mean, they only have one of the EX2 Impmon, which is obviously the best rookie in the deck. There's a Searcher and your mill engine.
Yeah.
But this deck is still nothing to sneeze at. You take out the EX2 Impmon and you put in the on deletion mill 3 Impmon, and you're pretty much right there. And so you are obviously missing some of the quick mill aspect of the deck.
They nerfed it,
but
for sure.
But it's still a very strong deck. Deathslinger, Wizardmon, Rivals Barrage. These are all very, very good cards in this deck.
Wizardmon X, it's crazy.
And now, with only the EX2 Impmon at 1, you have room for things like the on play, grab a Demon Lord back from the trash, as well as the Psychmon. So a lot of good options in this deck still.
Yeah, a lot of these people are not opting to go with memory gates, right, or memory stoppers, right, memory deniers, whatever the term is.
Yeah,
they're kind of going with the play reduction, which I definitely agree with. I think that's the direction I would go with this current meta.
Yeah,
but
the Royal
Knights.
Knights.
It's a tough
and the Blue
call
Flare.
because Blue Flare can just pop a memory boost.
Yeah,
if they really need to, right? So it's a tough call. But so for all you Belzemon fans out there, if
deck is still very
if Belphamon's not good enough a Demon Lord for you, you still can play Belzemon. So
very true.
Can't wait to see some more Demon Lords. We still haven't even had all the representation from them yet. But let's go into our last deck that we're going to look at for our regionals. And this is one that has everyone in the studio here scratching their heads.
Wow.
It is wild. Red-White Jesmon GX deck. And this is one of those, we saw it and we're like, what are their sixes?
Yeah, we're missing
the Blitz Jesmon.
We're missing the Blitz Jesmon.
And then there's Genku X antibody.
Adding
in here. And it's
Genku
like,
X.
what?
We're also missing the restricted Savior Huck.
Yeah.
We have 3 Chimeramons. Like, this is...
I love the 3 Chimeras, though, personally. So I don't hate that call. But you're right. The restricted one is so strong. It's like, why would you not play that? And Jesse's over there in the back. Like, you should have just been on this episode, man, as we were talking about this deck. But it's like, it's wild. Because Huckmon, the security one, is at a 4 of. He's saying that's crazy, too. So... this deck is really crazy, man, and it's cool seeing what you can do with the Jesmon stuff, and it's I know I'm a known hater of the Jesmon design, but it's nothing to do with the deck. It's just the dude himself.
Well, and also look at this. It's 10 rookies. Yeah. It's 8 level 4s. It's 5 level 5s.
Jesmon's always had the craziest ratios.
It's 6 level 6s and 3 level 7s, and then the rest are sisters.
It's crazy. It's absolutely crazy. So deck is nuts. So those are the regionals. I can't wait till you're on here one of these days, because it's gonna be a crazy thing to talk about. But now we're just excited because we have EX5, and there's so many things that came out with EX5 that it's like I don't even know where to start. So I'm just gonna do, because we didn't. I want to talk about the Leomon stuff real quick, just because I want to gripe a little bit. First of all, I'm insanely happy that we got Heavy Leomon. I love the Heavy Leomon design. I do think the original artwork that we have for the Heavy Leomon is not like amazing, and I hope there's an alt art that you can see him clear. And I'm a little disappointed that some of the Leomon stuff isn't blue, and I can't incorporate that with some blue stuff that I have now. But I do think that the creativity is going to be there, and I was kind of hoping for maybe Bancho Leomon Burst Mode or some cool something like that, just some unique
level
things,
7,
like for the Leomon tribe. And I don't know, personally, I still am struggling with all the Leomons not being blue, because I felt like they were so good in blue. But I'll get off that now, and we can start talking about some other stuff.
I just want to say, Leomon feels like one of those tribes that's just missing that one thing. And I feel like I was talking about it earlier, like Bloom Lord was just missing Quartzmon. And Mirage Galgamon was just missing a level 7.
Mm-hmm.
And then they got those, and we're all so happy for those decks and the enjoyers of those decks. But Leomon is like, we need another Jerry. We need another. We need a level 7. We need.
Yeah, we need some stuff to make Leomon happen. We need some color identity too, because
we need Leomon memory boost. I don't
know.
Let's go,
dude. Let's go, Leomon. Yeah, I'm all for this. Let's make this happen. So, but we got tons of other things in EX5. EX5 is looking to be a crazy cool set. I did see this funny comment, since we'll talk about Grace Novamon. Another EX set where it's 2 level 6s DNA digivolving and to make one big boss, right? So I think a lot of people are kind of getting a little upset that Bandai's doing that, but it's just such a good strategy for Bandai because they get to give us this really cool line that's hard to represent elsewhere, unique Digimon that people are big fans of, and it's a really cool gimmick. Like, it's nothing like, it's fun.
Yeah.
Like the purple red Imperial Dramon's really fun. The Alter S, Crescarumon, Blitz Greymon stuff was really fun too. Like the Examon stuff is really fun. Like all that stuff works. It's fun, and it's kind of what Digimon is. Digimon kind of is this DNA combining, and it makes a lot of sense. But Grace Novamon's fun. Security attack +1, blocker when digivolving when attacking. If DNA digivolving, trash any 8 Digivolution cards from your opponent's Digimon, then delete one of your opponent's Digimon with equal or fewer Digimon cards than this Digimon. And all turns when this Digimon would leave the battle area by your opponent's effect. By trashing 2 cards at the same level in its Digivolution cards, prevent it from leaving play.
Yeah, I think...
How crazy is that?
I think this is going to be... I don't know how well the sort of intended EX5 strategy is going to be in this deck.
Yeah.
What I do think is this could potentially be the new starter deck Ragnalord, where
that makes a lot of sense.
It's just like, this is the top end you throw in when you can.
Yeah.
And so...
well, it's unique. It's funny that you say that because Jesse pointed this out to me, and I didn't even realize this. This is the first time we're having a very specific DNA Digivolve with names. It's not colors. It's DNA Digivolve, Apollomon, and Diamond. That's it. It's really interesting, right?
Wait, never mind then.
Yeah, so it's like, because I was thinking the same thing. It's like, okay, cool. It's a cool top end, red and blue. You can do a lot of fun stuff. But no, it's specific Apollo and Dianamon. So maybe Bandai in the future wants us to give us more Apollomon and Dianamon stuff, since I have been reacting so positively to all this stuff getting announced. I don't know. So it's gonna be really interesting. I know I'm personally all in on this deck. I don't care how bad it is. I might have to get buried in this deck because it's just so cool to me. Like, I kind of like the idea of how this is going to work. I think it's going to be fun. I kind of like those decks where you have a whole deck of cards, so you play the whole deck of cards.
Yeah, right.
And this is going to feel like that because you are going to take off a level, put back a level, go up and down and use a bunch of cards and resources when you can. So it's going to be really interesting. But we also got some crazy X antibody stuff. A lot of things that people didn't even see coming.
What a nightmare.
We're just going to put all of the Gabumon, Garurumon stuff below here because what the hell? Like, people were already upset about how strong Greymon became. And it's crazy cool how the Gabumon ended up falling into blue-purple because the Greymon was red-black. So they have their colors like that. But the Gabumon X antibody is super strong. It grabs 2 cards. With Garuru or X antibodies, you get to choose. That's insane.
Well, and so Garurumon already had an X antibody level 3, but it was just a searcher.
Yeah.
They put an inheritable on an X antibody level 3. Like, holy smokes.
And it's blue
not
purple,
only
too.
is it an inheritable, but it is an inheritable capital I. It has protection on a level 3.
Yeah,
and not only is it a level 3, it's a 2-color level 3. It digivolves for 0 on a Suno or a Gabumon. I don't know what Bandai had going on in that pretty little head of theirs when they printed this card.
I will say, though, I love the artwork of the Gabumon and the Garurumon and the Weregarurumon. This is my favorite type of artwork is when I see these, like how they look here. So
yeah, it's kind of like love the art, hate the words kind of thing.
Yeah.
I think this is going to be quite the card.
I think it's funny because of how strong this is. Like the Garurumon stuff's already so strong. And Bandai's like, oh, you're tired of Agumons? Okay, here's more Gabumons.
Well,
it's I mean, yes, you're not wrong. I guess some more representation of that's cool, but...
So the Melga strategy obviously lost the promo Weregarurumon.
Yeah.
And I think no one was really like, oh, I think that card should stick around. Because obviously it was the best level 5, and it was sort of the glue that held the deck together. You don't really see anyone playing Garurumon these days. And so the starter deck is going to be helpful, and then this EX5 set is going to kind of, I think, mesh the two together. Because we're getting blue and... It's not blue or purple.
It's both.
It's dual color cards, and I think that is going to be I'm calling it right now. That's the best deck in EX5.
I'll agree.
Is Garurumon.
I'll say that. Yeah, I 100%.
I don't
agree with
even
you.
think it's any question.
Yeah, if you wanna have fun and you like it when no one else has fun because you win every game, this is the deck to play.
Yeah, I think this is gonna be.
Or if you just like being highly competitive, but
I think it's gonna be pretty good.
Yeah. Well, close second of Leomon, right?
Right. Yeah. After
I'm just
that.
kidding. Okay. No. So, but to go with that stuff, just when we thought we've seen it all, they gave us another X antibody option.
Yeah.
X antibody PF, was that protoform? I think is what I heard you guys say.
Yeah, and this is a card I've been thinking a lot about because
it's a super rare too.
There's a super rare option first of all, which is super cool, but also it's like if you think about X antibody, the option, it's like okay, it does so many things. It's your level of protection for specific Digimon.
Yeah.
It is protecting you from source stripping. It's getting you a mini ice wall out of security, and it's giving you the Digivolve effect. Yeah. And so you think about all of that, and you're like, yeah, they're never going to print something better than that. And yet, I'm not saying that this is better than that, but in specific strategies, this one is necessarily better. I played a lot of Grandis. I love green, and Grandis was something I played a lot of before the Grand Quagamon went to 1.
Yeah.
And this is better in that deck than the old one because that's going to reduce your Digivolution cost. You don't really necessarily need to swing and then X antibody into Grandis.
Yeah.
Because it has the when Digivolving effect, you can swing.
Yeah.
And so this one might be better for that sort of strategy. It might be better in something like Alphamon. The new BT13 Alphamon is a 4 Digivolve.
Yep.
And so this makes it a 3. Something like that. And then it also has this kind of strange, like, security control kind of aspect to it. Where it's like...
It's like, seriously?
Like it could open up to like this like Alphamon control strategy was the first thing I thought of. Where it's like... Damn, we have recursion in black now.
Yeah, it's like,
so it's like, whoa, this is an interesting card. I'm not sold one way or the other on it, but I think it does open up a different strategy than the old X antibody option.
No, this is really cool, man. I'm a big fan of this card. It's funny because I thought we were kind of leaving the X antibody stuff behind, and it was going to be one of those like, oh, here's a random.
Remember BT9? That was crazy.
Yeah, they're like, okay, here's a random Gazimon X antibody that you'll never use, but technically every Digimon can have an X antibody. Unless there already are, so let's give that representation, right?
It's like
right?
like Palmon X antibodies coming soon.
Yeah. I can't wait. I want to see Palmon X antibody. I want to see Justimon X antibody. Everybody in the comments, let us know.
Diaboromon X antibody, obviously.
Yeah. Let us know in the comments what X antibody Digimon you want to see represented in the game. It doesn't even have to be a good card. We just want that character in general.
If you're in the comments right now and you want ADR02 Searcher X antibody, let us know.
Oh jeez. I don't even think it's possible, is it?
I don't know. I'm just saying they might want the people want it.
The people want it. We'll give the people what they want, and what they want is more of us. So no, this was a crazy set, man. And EX5 I think really blew expectations. I think a lot of people, were really hyped on just like the 4 great sovereigns with the Fenglongmon and the Devas, and we kind of thought that's all it was going to be, but they really fit in so much in this deck we got.
And the thing that always happens with EX sets is we play them for a little bit and then we put them to the side.
Yeah.
The only thing that really stuck around, like longevity-wise, and we don't know what's going to happen to EX4. It only just came out. But like EX2 is really the only thing that has really stood the test of time.
Absolutely.
And so hopefully, and I mean, like if you go on TCG Player and look at the prices of boxes, the EX2 is the expensive one out of the
EX1
three.
You can get dirt cheap.
Yeah, and so hopefully this EX set is kind of on par with that EX2 level of competitiveness.
I mean, I definitely think if you're a Melga fan, or if you like, that will be a deck that you really want to play competitively. I think for that reason, yes. And then I think there's some fun tribe stuff. I mean, I can think of, you have the Grace Nova line, which would be a lot of fun, and then you have the Fenglong at the 4 sovereigns. Mm-hmm. That alone, both of those are going to be really fun too. But are they just going to be another thing or what? So
only time will tell.
Cannot wait to see what happens in the future. But speaking of what's been happening, what about this week, man? Let's do some cards of the week. I kind of want to go first. We're
Go
gonna do it.
ahead.
We're gonna go first. So, for me, I was really excited when you started talking about Rosemon burst mode earlier. The whole burst mechanic, I'm a big fan of that whole thing, right? Because first of all, you get a very powerful level 7 for only 5 Evo. In the Rosemon case, you can reduce it just the way the deck is, but you have this really cool ability to make it cost 0 by returning the Tamer. So my card of the week is going to go ahead and be Ravemon Burst Mode. It's probably the worst of all the burst modes, but he's my favorite because he's Ravemon and he's awesome. So I guess just pretend I'm not saying Ravemon and insert your favorite burst mode here. But it's just, really cool idea of having the ability of a level 7 that you get this payoff where you Digivolve, you burst Digivolve, you return a Tamer to hand, and then you have to put it back at the end of turn, right? It goes back to that level 6, but it doesn't delete itself. So you still get value out of the stack that you made. I'm a big fan of the burst mode stuff, and I joked earlier about Bancho Leomon burst mode. Like, that would be great if we could get that. I know the design isn't very cool. He's just like Super Saiyan Aura, and that's the only thing he's got.
Yeah.
But yeah, no,
well, and
I'm all for that.
The interesting thing about the burst mode Digivolves is really, like, obviously it's meant to be with the tribal thing, but we're already seeing people playing Rose Burst in Bloomlord list, which I think is great. Yeah. But also, you think of like level 7s as like, okay, I'm going to go into my level 7 and pass the turn.
Yep.
But the burst modes give you the option. It's like, what if it was still your turn with that level 7?
Yeah.
And like, you have to pay that cost of the Tamer, but a lot of those decks have ways to get those Tamers out
for free. The purple one to me was the worst one because the level 4 is what plays the Keenan, and it's only if you don't have a Keenan.
Yeah.
So it sucks, especially because a lot of times you Digivolve with your level 4 in the Raising.
Yeah.
So it doesn't quite work as well as the other decks, I think. So let us know in the comments what your favorite burst mode is. We're going to go strictly by design because mine's definitely Ravemon, and Shine Gray is pretty cool. But, man, Mirage Galgamon, he looks mean. He's cool. Yeah. He's cool. So definitely excited about that, man. But what's your card of the week?
Well, as you all know, I'm a competitive guy. I like what's meta. But I've been messing around with an anti-meta strategy.
Let's go.
And so
I think you have to know the meta well enough to be anti-meta.
Yeah, so my card of the week is Craniumon.
Yes.
But it's the good one. BT3 Craniumon.
Yes.
And so what I've been working on is an anti-meta blocker deck that is specifically to get a giant undeletable wall of 19k blockers.
Let's go,
and
dude.
So it's not quite ready. It's still in production.
Oh, we'll film that.
But that BT3 Craniumon, no blockers can be, because the new Craniumon is obviously amazing.
Yeah, it's great.
It forces something to attack. It's a huge blocker, and then that turn it can't be deleted by effects.
Yeah.
Whereas the old one is a blanket. No blockers can be deleted by no effect.
Yeah.
And so that's sort of the that card is so slept on.
Yeah.
And I know this is something Jesse's been talking about a lot. Put it in Royal Knights.
Yeah.
And when you play out your Leopardmon, play out that, you have a double blocker, no deletion.
Yeah. I still don't see why people don't play that in that deck.
Yeah. So BT3 Craniumon.
If you ever are bored and you end up having a good group of friends that have only BT3 cards and before, what you should do, deck I should recommend, is Ragnazoo. Because people started teching in that Craniumon because they would just drop that guy for 13. They're like, you know what? Screw it.
Do something about it.
I'll give you 10. There is a blocker that you cannot delete, and then Ragnar, when he's a blocker, cannot delete him either.
Yeah.
It was insane. It was a lot of fun. The Craniumon does have a lot
of...
It
holds up?
It holds up. It's definitely a cool card. That's one that I think a lot of people want to see X antibody of him too, because he's a really mean looking X antibody. Yeah,
now we're getting somewhere.
So Bandai, make that happen. X antibody of the Royal Knights. We know you gave us Leopardmon X antibody. We want to see.
There's Old Forest.
We got Old Forest. We got so many things that we can do. We don't have to just keep focusing on Jesmon. I promise.
Give some love.
Give some love to
the black blockers.
Yeah, let's go, because people love that deck. Always people have loved that deck. So. Well, guys, thank you so much for sticking around as long as you did. Without you, we would not be able to do this. So go ahead, like, comment, subscribe. Again, get in that Discord. Reach out to us. Look at the event details because Wayward is opening back up, and we are so pumped. We're going to go rock it at locals, and we cannot wait. Basil, thank you so much for joining me again.
Of course.
Everybody, have a good one. Thanks. Bye.